ladies. Welcome to today's teaching on the Woman Your Voice online curriculum. Okay, so I did a poll. I asked you questions and I said you should pick which one best describes you: a woman, a teacher, a career woman, a wife, a mother. And a few of you, I think just two of you picked woman, and then the rest of you went ahead to pick the other things that you think that best describes you, right? So, everything good, but when it comes to Christianity and we as humans and those who God created, the issue of identity is very, very key. And that's why every time God gives me an assignment, I usually like to go back to the beginning, because the beginning gives us the perfect picture of God's intention and God's purpose for mankind when He created us. So when God created Eve, He didn't create her as a wife. He didn't create her as he didn't label her as a wife. He didn't label her as a mother. He didn't label her as a career woman, or the woman who is going to be working, or a teacher, or whatsoever name that you would like to attach to yourself. He saw that there was a need, and he realized that even if he had created Adam and Adam had things to do, there was nothing that was actually going to keep Adam company, and there was nothing that was actually going to complete him. And so he decided, you know what, let's put this man to sleep, and then bring out let's put this man to sleep and create a woman who is going to complement him, who is going to complete him. When Eve was made, the Bible says that Adam looked at her and said, wow, this is the bone of my bone, the flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman. Adam called her a woman. Adam didn't call her his wife. Do you understand? Adam didn't say, oh, she shall be called wife. Because the truth is, when you label yourself a particular name, when you put something to your name, what you're actually doing is putting a cap on your capabilities. So when you say that if people should approach you, and the first thing, or because I asked that question, and the first thing you say is, oh, I'm a wife, what you're saying is what you can do is limited to being a wife, or what you can do is limited to being a mother. And that's why when you're in your motherly duties, you find it difficult to stretch. You find it difficult to stretch and do other things, because guess what? The motherly duties is actually what's it called? Clouding your mind. When you're a wife, all you want to do is just be a wife. Now, let me give you an example. When I first got married, and I had to, and I went on our honeymoon, and it felt so comfortable to, honestly, it felt really comfortable to just be the wife and just wake up in the morning and make sure my husband is okay, and make him breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then do the other things. And it felt really, really comfortable. Like, this is, I didn't feel like this is my calling in life, but I felt, oh, this is okay. It's beautiful to just keep doing this. And it took God to make me realize that you have put a cap on your abilities. You have put a limit on what you can do. This is not what I have called you to be. I've called you to be a woman, which means when you are a woman, the your activities are endless. When you're a woman, what you can do is endless. You can be the wife, you can be the mother, you can be the teacher, you can be the career woman, you can be the successful babe. You can just be everything. You can be the girl. You can be the gorgeous girl as well. And so he says, I haven't called you to be a wife. Being a wife is part of the journey. But being a woman is who I have made you to be. So whatever you do on this journey is just a part of the journey. You remain a woman to God. When God wants to address you, He addresses you as a woman. If He's addressing your wifely duties, that's just part of what He has called you to do. And so it's important for us to understand this basis, this foundation, that I am a woman. Yes, I am a wife, but that comes with me being a woman. I'm a mother, that comes with being a woman. I'm a successful person, that comes with being a woman. It just shows that there's so many things that I can be as a woman. Right. So when I checked the meaning of identity, identity means being the same person inside and outside, silent or loud, popular or not popular. So your identity is not based on your style, it's not based on your career, it's not based on your achievements. Your identity is who God has made you. Who God has made you. What has God made you, or who has God made you? He has made you a woman in his own image. When he made you, he didn't make you as an afterthought. You were not created because, we created the man, there's a need. No. You were created. The thing with this thing is, God knew he was going to create a woman before he finished the creation process. He knew. Because he's the one that knows everything from the beginning. He knows everything, beginning, middle, end. He knew. So it's not that he felt, Adam needs a companion now. So we have to start creating. No. He knew from the beginning that he was going to create a woman. So the essence of recording that in scripture is to let us know the process, what birthed the creation of woman. So if God had known from the beginning that, we're going to create a woman, and he says, this is the reason we are creating a woman, because she's the completer. So unless you step into the scene, nothing is complete, whether you like it or not. Unless you step into the scene, whether it's in the workplace or it's in the home front or it's in your business, until you step into the scene, nothing is complete. So yes, it might look complete, but there's a touch that you must put to it that would give it a voice. There's a touch that you must put to it that will give it the completeness that it ought to have. Now, Edwin Cole said something. He said, life must have value, else it is worthless. Life must have value, else it is worthless. So, woman, what is your value? What is your value? What is the standard that you have put for yourself? Do you just live by everything? Do you just take everything as it ought to be? When we I'm going to be looking at my notes. So when we what is life? When we examine that question, what is life? The dictionary says life is the existence of an individual, human or animal. The existence of an individual, human or animal. Now, the existence of human, man or woman, which means looking from Cole's standpoint, that looking from Edwin Cole, your existence as a woman must have value. You're not just created to just be there, to not just wake up every morning and all you do is just make breakfast, make lunch, and make dinner. No. And no, I'm not trying to pull you out of your duties. No, they are just things that are a part of your journey. They don't define who you are. And so a woman must have value, or else a woman must have and recognize her values, else there is no point existing. And so my question is, what is value? What is value? What is value? Value is the principles or standards of behavior of a person. Values are principles or standards of behaviors of a person. Inherently, value is the standard of your life. What is the value you place on yourself? Did you place value on yourself? I remember I wanted to buy something one time and I wanted to go for a counterfeit option. And my husband said, you don't have standard. You don't have a standard. Why do you have to buy the counterfeit one when you know that you can buy the other, the real one? And I'm like, I just need it for just now. He says, no, you have to have a standard. And so you see in the little things of trying to purchase something that we're going to just use for a few days, and he says, no, buy the one that is of standard, because it means what he told me, or what it said to me, is when you put value on yourself, or when you place a standard on yourself, it determines the outcome of every other thing that you do. So what is your value? Do you just go ahead and just do things because, oh, I have to do them now, and I just do it anyway? And trust me, see, the way you do one thing is the way you do every other thing. So as a woman and the other compartments of your life, the way you treat yourself, the standard you place on your life as a woman is going to transcend into it's going to transcend into every other thing that you do. Now let's look at when the serpent came to Eve. Eve didn't understand the value of who she was. She didn't understand that I am a completer. She didn't understand that what I say or the decisions I make has the capacity. She didn't understand that her decisions, her singular decision, had the capacity to change the outcome of every other thing around her. One woman succumb to the devil, and look at where we are today. And no, I'm not trying to blame Eve, because guess what? Even us, there are times when we have fallen below standard. And so I'm not trying to blame Eve here. I'm just trying to say we must begin to own who we are as women. We must begin to understand the value and the standard that God has put on us if we're going to keep creating things, and if we're going to keep own our voice, recognize who we are, and stand in the place of value that God has created us to stand in. So value is also the regard that something is held to deserve, the importance, the worth, the usefulness of something. And I'm tempted to ask, what's your usefulness? What is the usefulness of you when you're in a room? What is the usefulness of you when you are given an idea to brood on? What is the usefulness of you when people come into your space? What are those things that you see that, oh, I can do? And I'm going to give you an assignment. I want you to take a new journal, or in one of your journals, and I want you to write the things that have come into your hand before now and has grown or has increased in value. The people that had come into your life before now, and because they met you, something changed in their life. I want you to own that aspect of who you are and begin to label those things that you see that other people cherish in you, but you have not been able to see. Because see, I remember a friend of mine told me one time, she said, Adesewa, have you noticed that when guys come around you, they begin to tilt towards having a better relationship with God? And I never noticed it until that point where she said it. And she said, so just go ahead with what you do. And so up until that time, I wasn't intentional about what I was doing. Okay, so up until that time, what I had done is just live my life and just proclaim Jesus to everybody that comes around me, including the guys, And so when she mentioned it to me, I said, wow. I'm like, okay. So if this has happened and somebody has noticed it, then I need to be more intentional about it. And so that is why I'm giving you that assignment. Get a book, get a biro, and begin to write the things that you have achieved. Write the things that you have done. And clap for yourself, applaud yourself for doing those things. Because until you intentionally pay attention to these things, you might not really know your value. You might know your value, but you might not understand the depth of your impact. So right how when you walk into the room, people get to listen to you. Right how when you speak up concerning things, your ideas are actually taken note of, because it means that when you speak, people listen. So counterintuitive to what you think prior to this time, that people don't listen to you, just maybe you've not just been taking notes, and just maybe you've not noticed that there's a manner at which you speak and people listen, and there's a manner at which you speak and people don't listen. And so you need to sit down and just do this assignment, take note of these things, and begin to work intentionally on the things, on the particular ones that you have seen that have gained results for you. So again, I ask, What is the standard of life that you have of yourself? What is the standard of life that you have of yourself in all areas of your life? In all areas of your life as a woman. Because what you lay as a standard is what you'll be held to deserve. What you lay as a standard is what you'll be held to deserve. My mom usually says something that who you project your family to be is who other people would see your family as. So come bringing it home now to us as women. Who you project yourself to be is who people would think or is who people would think you deserve to be. Who have you been projecting yourself to be? What is the standard that you have put on yourself? Are you the one that everybody can just come and have access to you and everybody just dump all the rubbish on you and then you go back home crying? Or are you the one who owns her time, owns her space, owns her personality? Are you the one who gives yourself a name so that people can call you that name? I'm going to give you an example. You might know Coach Steve Harris. One time he shared a story about how people knew him from the guy who was the dropout and then became a successful business story. And then he said, I got tired of that name. And then I decided to look at the other parts of me that people needed to tap into. So what are the other parts of you that people need to tap into? Are you the one who people have just capped and said, oh, she's a wonderful bride, she's a wonderful wife? I'm going to give you another example. One time when the Lord asked me to just stay at home and not do anything, we had just had my son, or I think I was pregnant at that time, and we had a guest in our house, and the person said, oh, you're I think I can't remember now, but I did something, and the person was like, oh, you're a housewife. And I said, no, I am not a housewife. She said, no, but you're at home. I said, no, I am not a housewife. And I drove in that point straight on. I didn't let it land, because see, when people begin to see you a certain way, they begin to treat you in that way. And no, I'm not telling you to be prideful. I'm telling you to own who God has created you to be. The value that you place on yourself, the value you place on yourself is commensurate to the value you attract to yourself. The value that you place on yourself as a woman is commensurate to the value that you attract to yourself. Please be deliberate about the value you place on yourself. Be deliberate about what you want people to call you. Be deliberate about it, because if you don't give people a name to call you, they will assume that you have a name and they'll call you whatever name they think that you deserve to bear. She was created as a helpmeet or as a completer. And by creation, she was made to be the completion of the man in God. She was made to be the completion of the man in God. However, had she known and understood this truth in God, if she had known and understood this truth in God, she would not have, if she had known and understood this truth in God, she would not have lowered her standard when the deceptor came to her. If she had understood that I am a helpmate, if she had understood that I have been put in the life of this man, or in the middle of this garden, to be a completer, she wouldn't have misplaced her identity priority, because that was what happened. Until the devil said, did God really say? And then she began to doubt in who she was. And that is why I'm really dwelling on this today, that you must understand who you are. You must understand the value that God has put in you. So in the lineage of the creation of Eve, we've been created as completers. We've been created as helpmates. We've been created as people who, once we come in contact with something, or something comes in contact with us, that thing never remains the same again, positively or negatively, depending on how you do it. For Eve, it was negative. But again, God found a way to redeem us back to himself. And so this is why I'm saying that you must be intentional about the values that you place on yourself. So go to your journals, go to your book, and begin to write the things that you have seen, that you have been able to birth through who God has called you as a woman. See you in the next teaching. God bless you.